Part 1. The Silent Struggle and the Promise of Science. So many women quietly wrestle with a difficult truth. Reaching orgasm during vaginal sex can often feel elusive, even impossible. This isn't just about pleasure. It affects intimacy, confidence, and the deep bond between partners. But what if I told you that science has finally given us clear answers? Not vague guesses, not old wives' tales, but real data on which positions actually increase a woman's chance of climax. I'm Dr. Ivan Goldstein, a urologist and pelvic surgeon. Today, I want to walk you through not just tips, but the top 4 scientifically proven positions that maximize female pleasure. These are based on groundbreaking research using 3D models, ultrasounds, and real couples to track something vital: blood flow to the clitoris. And here's why that matters. The clitoris is the powerhouse of female pleasure. More blood flow means stronger arousal, more sensitivity, and a dramatically higher likelihood of orgasm. In fact, researchers observed how different positions literally lit up the clitoris in ultrasound scans, showing where passion meets biology. By the end of this, you'll not only know the 4 best positions, but also discover bonus techniques that can transform the way you and your partner connect in bed. This isn't just about climax. It's about closeness, confidence, and rediscovering joy in intimacy. Part 2, position number 1, face-to-face, woman on top. Let's begin with one of the most powerful and time-tested positions: woman on top, face-to-face. Why does this matter so much? Because control changes everything. In this position, the woman decides the angle, depth, rhythm, and pace. That's not just empowering, it's biologically effective. When a woman controls her movements, she can naturally adjust her body to maximize direct pressure against her clitoris. In fact, ultrasound studies revealed something striking. During this position, blood flow surges symmetrically across the clitoris. Both sides light up with circulation, creating an environment that is far more orgasm-friendly than random trial and error. But beyond the science, think of the intimacy. Imagine a couple. Let's call them Sarah and Michael. After years of routine sex, Sarah felt frustrated, unable to climax, and doubting herself. When they tried this position with intention, something shifted. Sarah felt pressure in the exact spot she had always been missing. For the first time in months, she climaxed. And Michael, watching her face glow with pleasure, felt a renewed sense of closeness. That's the magic here. Intense clitoral stimulation meets emotional intimacy. Eye contact, closeness, and a rhythm that she controls all combine to create not only physical release, but also a deep bond. Science backs this up, and couples' real experiences prove it. This isn't just a position. It's a doorway back to connection, confidence, and passion. Part 3, position number 2, face-to-face, man on top, with a twist. Now, let's move to another classic, the man on top, face-to-face. At first glance, you might think this position is too traditional, too predictable. But here's the twist. Add a pillow beneath the woman's hips. This simple change transforms the experience. Why? Because by elevating the pelvis, the angle shifts in such a way that the man's weight and movement naturally press against the clitoris. Ultrasound scans showed that with this adjustment, clitoral blood flow increases dramatically, not just in one area, but uniformly across the entire structure. That means stronger arousal, deeper sensitivity, and a much higher likelihood of orgasm. But this isn't only about science. Think of how subtle adjustments can change everything in real life. Picture Linda, 62, and her partner David. They'd been together for decades, and intimacy had become routine. When they tried the pillow technique, Linda felt a rush she hadn't experienced in years. Suddenly, the ordinary became extraordinary. The closeness of eye contact, the warmth of his body over hers, combined with the perfectly angled stimulation, it unlocked something she thought she had lost. There's also another dimension here: comfort and communication. Using a pillow not only changes blood flow, but also reduces strain, making the experience more sustainable for both partners. It turns a familiar position into something new, exciting, and deeply pleasurable. Science confirms it, couples affirm it, and the truth is simple. Sometimes the smallest change can ignite the biggest difference. Part 4. Position number 3. The coital alignment technique, the subtle dance. Now we arrive at one of the most fascinating discoveries from research: the coital alignment technique, often called CAT. At first, it looks a lot like missionary, but the secret isn't in what it looks like. It's in how the bodies move together. Instead of the typical in and out thrusting, both partners shift their bodies slightly higher against each other, so that the base of the penis, or the pubic bone, presses directly onto the clitoris. From there, instead of thrusting, the couple rocks their pelvises in a gentle sliding motion, almost like a slow dance, hips gliding in rhythm. At first, this can feel unusual. It takes practice, patience, and communication. But when partners find the right rhythm, something remarkable happens. Steady, targeted stimulation of the clitoris throughout penetration. This isn't momentary pressure. It's continuous, building arousal like a rising wave. Clinical research has shown something extraordinary. Women who had never experienced orgasm from intercourse alone often succeeded when trying this technique. That's a game changer. It tells us that the barrier is not a woman's body being incapable, but simply the lack of sustained clitoral engagement in typical intercourse. Imagine Mary, 59, who had always believed intercourse alone just didn't work for her. When she and her husband experimented with CAT, she was skeptical. The first few tries felt awkward, but once they found their rhythm, Mary described it as unlocking a door she didn't know existed. For the first time in her life, she climaxed purely from intercourse. The tears in her eyes weren't just from pleasure. They were from years of doubt finally melting away. That's the beauty of this technique. It requires trust, patience, and communication. But when both partners commit, the reward isn't just orgasm. It's the rediscovery of intimacy through movement, rhythm, and closeness. Part 5. Position number 4. Sitting face to face, the intimate embrace. The fourth position may not seem as powerful on paper, but it holds a special kind of intimacy. Sitting face to face. Imagine both partners seated, legs wrapped around each other, eyes meeting with every breath. Scientifically, this position does increase blood flow to the clitoris, though not as dramatically as the first two. The reason is simple. Gravity isn't pressing directly onto the clitoris here. Yet, what it lacks in pure intensity, it often makes up for in emotional connection. The closeness, the full-body embrace, the way you can see, feel, and even hear your partner. These elements create a uniquely intimate energy. Picture a couple, Tom and Elena, who had grown distant after years of routine. When they tried this position, something shifted. Elena later shared, "It wasn't the strongest orgasm, but it was the first time in years I felt like we were truly making love, not just having sex." That sense of presence and vulnerability, forehead to forehead, heart to heart, awakened a level of intimacy they didn't realize they were missing. Of course, the thrusting motion in this position can still generate pressure and arousal, And for some women, pairing it with additional clitoral stimulation, a hand, a toy, or subtle rocking, can transform it into a powerful experience. But at its core, this position reminds us that orgasm is not the only measure of great sex. Sometimes, what matters most is the feeling of being fully seen and cherished. Science gives us the proof, couples give us the stories, and together they remind us, while blood flow drives pleasure, connection fuels love. Part 6. Beyond positions. Techniques that supercharge female pleasure. We've covered the 4 top positions, but here's the truth. Pleasure doesn't stop at positions. Science and women's own voices reveal powerful techniques that can be added to any position to dramatically increase arousal and orgasm potential. The first is angling. Sometimes a few centimeters can make all the difference. Adjusting the hips, shifting the pelvis, or sliding a pillow under can change how the penis or pubic bone contacts the clitoris. This subtle change can turn a good position into an unforgettable one. Think of it like fine-tuning a guitar. The song was always there, but the right tuning makes it sing. Next comes rocking. Instead of deep thrusting, couples use a gentle, rhythmic rocking motion. This creates consistent clitoral pressure, like in the coital alignment technique, building arousal steadily rather than in peaks and valleys. It's slower, more deliberate, but often far more satisfying. Then there's shallowing. Instead of focusing on deep penetration, attention shifts to the entrance of the vagina, where nerve endings are especially concentrated. Science confirms this area is densely packed with sensation, and for many women, it's more responsive than deep thrusting. And finally, the game changer: pairing. This means adding direct clitoral stimulation, whether with a hand, a toy, or the partner's touch, during penetration. Studies show up to 70% of women report that pairing makes intercourse far more pleasurable, greatly increasing the chance of orgasm. Picture Julia, 61. For years, she blamed herself for not being normal because penetration alone never worked. When she and her partner finally tried combining clitoral stimulation with intercourse, her world changed. "I thought I was broken," she said, "but I just needed a different kind of attention." That moment didn't just give her an orgasm. It restored her confidence as a woman. At the end of the day, the techniques aren't about performance or perfection. They're about curiosity, communication, and discovering what makes your body respond. When partners experiment without shame, they open doors to deeper intimacy and richer pleasure. Part 7. The bigger picture. Why communication matters more than technique. We've explored positions, adjustments, and even techniques proven by science. But here's a truth that often gets overlooked. None of it works without communication. Think about it. You could know the perfect angle, the best position, or the right rhythm. But if you and your partner aren't talking, if you're afraid to express what feels good or what doesn't, the results will always fall short. Pleasure is as much about trust and safety as it is about physical stimulation. Research consistently shows that couples who talk openly about sex report higher levels of satisfaction and more frequent orgasms. Why? Because communication reduces performance anxiety, prevents misunderstandings, and builds a foundation where both partners feel seen and respected. Take Robert and Helen, married for over 30 years. For decades, Helen stayed silent, worried she would hurt his feelings by asking for more clitoral stimulation. Over time, intimacy faded, not because of lack of love, but because of unspoken frustration. When they finally broke the silence, gently, lovingly, everything changed. Helen discovered pleasure she had long buried, and Robert felt more confident knowing he could finally meet her needs. Their marriage wasn't just reignited in bed. Their emotional bond deepened in everyday life. This is the bigger picture. Orgasm is not a solo achievement. It's a shared journey. The real magic happens when partners listen, adapt, and explore together. It's not about one person performing. It's about two people dancing, sometimes clumsy, sometimes graceful, toward connection. So, yes, techniques matter, positions matter. But more than that, being able to say, "I'd like to try this," or "Can we adjust that?" without fear or shame, is what makes intimacy sustainable, joyful, and healing. Part 8. Emotional Close. From Bedroom to Heart Connection. When we talk about orgasm, it's easy to reduce the conversation to mechanics: blood flow, positions, angles. And yes, the science matters. But at its deepest level, sex is not just about climax, it's about connection. For many women and their partners, the struggle to reach orgasm can carry heavy emotions: frustration, shame, even the fear of not being enough. These feelings don't stay in the bedroom. They echo into daily life, shaping confidence, communication, and the way couples relate to one another. But here's the hope. When intimacy is approached with curiosity, patience, and tenderness, something profound happens. The bedroom becomes more than a place for sex. It becomes a sanctuary for healing and rediscovery. Take Michael and Sarah, who once believed their spark had faded for good. After experimenting with positions and techniques, and more importantly, learning to talk without judgment, Sarah finally experienced the release she thought was impossible. But what moved them most wasn't just her climax. It was the moment afterward, lying in each other's arms, when Sarah whispered, "I feel alive again." Michael later said it was as if he had fallen in love with her for the second time. That's the real gift here: intimacy that renews both body and soul. Stronger orgasms? Yes. More pleasure? Absolutely. But the deeper reward is a love that feels fresh, a bond that feels unbreakable, and a confidence that radiates into every part of life. So if you've been quietly struggling, know this: you are not broken. Your body is capable. Your desire is valid. And with the right knowledge, the right techniques, and the right communication, intimacy can become more powerful than you ever imagined. Part 9. Recap. Key lessons from science and stories. We've traveled through science, stories, and strategies, and now it's time to gather the threads into one clear picture. First, the science is undeniable. Orgasm isn't random luck. It's tied directly to clitoral blood flow and stimulation. Research using ultrasound and 3D models proved which positions truly enhance that flow, and why so many women finally experience climax when these positions are practiced. Second, the 4 positions stood out. 1. Face-to-face, woman on top, empowerment, control, and maximum clitoral engagement. 2. Face-to-face, man on top, with a pillow, a subtle shift that transforms an old classic into an orgasm-friendly favorite. 3. Coital alignment technique, a dance of rocking and rhythm that unlocks continuous clitoral pressure. 4. Sitting face-to-face, not always the strongest for orgasm, but deeply powerful for emotional intimacy. Third, we learned that techniques like angling, rocking, shallowing, and pairing can supercharge these positions. They are simple adjustments that make intimacy more satisfying, and research shows their effectiveness is real. And finally, we confronted the truth that communication is the heartbeat of pleasure. Without openness, even the best position falls flat. But with trust, couples not only rediscover physical joy, but also emotional closeness that ripples into every part of their relationship. The stories of Sarah, Michael, Linda, Robert, and Mary remind us of something bigger. This journey isn't just about stronger orgasms. It's about women reclaiming their confidence, men rediscovering their role as attentive partners, and couples finding love that feels brand new, even after decades together. If there's one lesson to take away, it's this: pleasure is not selfish. It's a bridge between partners, between body and mind, between science and the soul. And every couple deserves to walk that bridge. Part 10. Final call. Hope, freedom, and an invitation to explore. As we close this journey, let's pause and remember. Intimacy is not just about the body. It's about freedom, healing, and joy. Too many couples silently believe that fading pleasure is simply part of aging, or that a woman's body is too complicated. But the truth we've uncovered is far more empowering. Science shows that with the right positions, techniques, and communication, orgasm is not only possible, it's within reach at any age. If you've ever felt frustrated, disconnected, or even hopeless, know this: you are not alone and you are not broken. With curiosity and patience, your body can surprise you, your relationship can deepen, and your confidence can return stronger than ever. So here's my invitation. Try, explore, talk, and rediscover. Start small. Add a pillow. Change an angle. Introduce pairing. Have that gentle conversation you've been avoiding. Each step is a doorway to not just better sex, but a fuller, richer connection with the person you love. And remember, intimacy is a journey, not a race. Be present. Be patient. And allow yourself to celebrate every moment along the way. If this message resonated with you, don't let it end here. Share it with your partner. Explore these discoveries together. And if you want more science-backed, heart-centered guidance, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment with your thoughts, and join this growing community. Because you deserve more than routine. You deserve intimacy that awakens your body, strengthens your bond, and reminds you every single day, you are worth it.